Hello everybody. Let me make sure everything is working properly, which I never can seem to do before I click the button. How's everybody doing tonight? I am been very busy this weekend. Very busy. And because my cousin is getting married, one of my younger cousins is getting married next week. And I had to go dress shopping and shoe shopping, and yeah, there were some things that turned out not to fit me properly, so I had to go back and do it again. So let's see if I can get my act together enough to actually write something. Wouldn't that be nice? I think it would be. So I am still working on the same thing as always, and I think I've been trying to figure out what I want to write, like what chapter I want to write this whole day, and I just can't seem to make up my mind. I know that my little board back there, well, I've got two of them on that little pedestal. One of them is my HB90 tracking system. It's my Kanban board. And the one that's behind it is the one I'm trying to do storyboarding. And I'm updating the storyboard that I had previously because every time I pull a Post-it note off of there and start writing about what it's supposed to be about, it's changing constantly. So it's like, please make up your mind. And it's like I never really can. So let me see. Looks like I am streaming. Can I hear my... Yes. I can hear myself as well. I don't know why I gotta check that when you guys are on the line, but I'm using OBS, so it's always a surprise to me if it's actually working right. No, let me see if last week, whenever I did this, my Twitch stream was not actually working. Let me see if it's working this time. I think it had some kind of an update that it tried to do, and it just didn't work right or something. So let me just check that really fast, and then we'll get into the writing of the story. All right, looks like that's going as well. Awesome. So let me go ahead and get the pomodoro sprints. I got home like minutes before I started the stream, like literally, because whenever I went out to dinner with my family really fast before I did the stream, and literally just got back, and tomorrow is trash day, so of course I was taking the trash out and putting the canister on the edge of the property so the trash people can pick up the trash. I keep cutting myself. Not good. Okay, so let's go. I am going to go ahead and switch over and start writing. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to drop me a little comment in the box, and I will answer them in my next break, which is in 25 minutes. So my first little sprint is always going to be 25 minutes, and then there'll be 5-minute breaks in between. But I will do a total of 4 25-minute sprints with 5 minutes in between each one. And that might take me a little past 8 o'clock. I'm not quite sure. So it usually does, because I usually, start talking during the breaks and never quite get to it. So, and now it's like 6:05 already, my time. And yeah, I've already wasted 5 minutes. So it'll be at least 8:05 if I stay on track for the rest of the sprints. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I will talk to you in 25 minutes. Good luck. Okay, that sprint is over. So I've decided during these things I'm going to go ahead and start the timer and then start talking. I don't know why I always forget that. Seems like such a simple thing. Okay, and make this a little bigger. So I went to Dollar General. I'm sure those are everywhere, and I just got a little book like this, just little lined pages, and I've decided to keep track of my streaming words, like how many words I write during the stream, just to see if I can maybe bump them up a little bit, because I know that in the last couple of streams that I've had, I don't know if it's because I've been tired or what, or if I've just been distracted in general, but I haven't really been actually writing very much. It's like I'm stuck in my mind, and I couldn't figure out the next scene I was writing. And I've been really concerned with the first person versus second person thing, and I don't know why this is like bothering me so badly, but I really want to just move on from all of that, worry about that later. I just need to get this book on paper. I need to get it written down, not really actually on paper, on like a microchip in my computer, you know what I mean? And so that's it. Fun idea. Always chaotic and usually involve housework. Yeah, I do some housework too. In fact, I do need to get some laundry in, and I keep forgetting to. Because next weekend I am going to a wedding, and I had to go buy some clothes this weekend because I'm not the type of person that usually wears dresses anymore or skirts or anything like that, but I went to a few stores. I ended up just going to a thrift store this time, and I got a plain black skirt that's kind of like I guess it's mid calf, and like a white printed shirt that would look okay with it, I suppose. But nothing really looks good on me in my own mind because I'm a little bit bigger than some people, and I'm older, so things don't look good on me as they used to as I was younger. Or maybe it's all in my head, I don't know, it doesn't matter. But anyway, I have to wash those clothes because they've been, I don't know where they've been actually, and I don't like trying on clothes that haven't been washed. Even if I bought it fresh from the store, if I was the first owner of these clothes, I always have to wash them anyway because my skin is so sensitive that, yeah, I just can't do that. So I always make sure that I wash everything first, and I'm hoping that these clothes will be okay after I wash them, because something I've noticed about the skirt is it seems to attract things. So I saw lint on there from, I guess, the clothes that were around that skirt in the other rooms, and it was kind of wrinkly. So I'm hoping I can, keep it from doing all the sticky things and actually make it look like it's not wrinkled up and crazy. So yeah, I write cozy mysteries, which is what I'm trying to write. What do you write? And so the story that I'm working on is about a mid-20s girl who is trying to step into the kind of, I guess, role that her father played. He was a cop for many years, and then he quit the force, and him and his buddy that were partners in the force, they actually opened a PI shop together. So he's gone now. He's disappeared. Everybody believes him dead. And she wants to find out what happened to him. So she's trying to follow in his footsteps, trying to figure out what happened with his last case that he's working on, because she believes that has something to do with his disappearance. But there's also another catch in this whole plot, and it's because she has some special abilities, and she gets little visions and stuff like that. So, it's something that's really going to help her out on her journey to becoming a private investigator type person. So, yeah. I know writing a mystery can be hard. I know there's lots of breadcrumbs that you have to drop around, and I think one of my old managers told me a long time ago to start with the ending in mind and work your way backwards and try to figure out what clues you need to lead to the person, And you always have to have like several different, I guess, suspects in mind, but try to. I think the hardest part's going to be not to give it away, because I already know who I want the bad person to be in all of this, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep it as a surprise ending because of that. So, yeah, it's going to be kind of interesting. Right, teen YA romance. Okay. Yeah, I've read some of those. Yeah. I don't think my book is going to have very much romance in it. And I don't know. It's not going to be the main point anyway. It's going to be more of a mystery. I'm going to try to keep it as cozy as possible. It's going to have a lot of family drama in it and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's very interesting. So, KDP. Oh, for Mother's Day. Oh, that's interesting. I don't know too much about KDP. I mean, I've heard Sarah talk about it a lot, but and that's really cool though. That's really great. Congratulations. And I think, well, we'll talk about it during the next break because I need to get this going again. So I'm going to put the 25 minutes is back on the clock. I'm going to go ahead and start the timer, and then I'm going to mute again, and then I'm going to continue writing. The last sprint, I only got a few hundred words, if that, because I started at the 179 words, and I got up to 344, but then I did have to go refill my drink, so there's a little bit of a slowdown. But, all right, let's get going, and we'll talk during the next break. Thank you for joining me. Okay, on day 15 of 30. Wow, okay. 30-day book. So you're kind of doing a used to be called NaNoWriMo. Are you doing Sarah's rough draft challenge? That'll be interesting. We'll talk about that next break. Okay. All right. And good luck to you. Okay, that sprint is over. I'm going to go ahead and start this 5-minute timer for break. So I wasn't getting very far with that scene, honestly, so I'm switching to a different scene. This one, it just wasn't working for me. So I'm going to move on to a scene where one of the victims will be discovered and police will search the office and find information that was, well, evidence that was planted to make my character seem guilty. Not the main character, but her cousin who's in the trouble. It's going to make him look guilty of this crime and hurting the girl and, you know, doing the bad stuff. But obviously it couldn't have been him. But he is going to look like well, it's hard to describe. Because he's already been captured and he's in the hospital, so it couldn't have been him that murders the girl. But however, he was the person who was supposedly embezzling money from the company. And so he's in jail for that. But they think that he may have had people like hired gun type thing. But we'll see. Is my audio too loud? I'm not really sure. Because I know it's not quite getting into the red zone, but it's in the yellow zone, and I just wanted to make sure it's not being too blaring. So, how did you do? Did you write anything while we were working during that sprint? So I have been trying to get this book out of me, and it's practically like drilling teeth, like going to the dentist, and it's such a pain in the butt. And I just don't know. Some chapters are really easy and some chapters are really hard. And I just don't understand why. That's a mystery to me, obviously. So, my next chapter is going to be a little bit different. Although it's not going to have my main character in it, because my main character is not at the bar at the time that this happens, or the aftermath in which, you know, I guess this will pretty much clear Marcus of some wrongdoing, but it's not going to clear him from everything, because the evidence that was planted was evidence against him. But will they find that in time? We don't know yet. So that's something that we'll have to think about. Oh, I got to write my number in here. Let's see. So my final numbers for that, I only got up to 472 words in that chapter. That's not enough words for one chapter, but I don't know how to continue it at this time, because in this scene, the scene that I was writing before, they were at the morgue, and so the detective was in there getting some information about the autopsy results, and then of course the special agent came in who just showed up at the beach the other day, and he's like very not happy to see her there, of course, and he isn't really sure how he feels about her, because she's not the normal special agent type person. She's not a normal Fed. She's a funny person, and she doesn't really act like a normal Fed. And he's starting to question her motives in this whole thing. So we're going to see where that goes to. But that's kind of why I'm having trouble figuring it out, because I don't know. I'm kind of hinting at maybe she's not what she seems. Maybe she's not really a Fed. Maybe she's just playing like she's a Fed. And he's like so new and so green at this whole thing. He's kind of gullible. Maybe just believes that it is, you know, she is who she says she is. And he doesn't call into the main offices and check up on her and stuff like that. So we'll see. He might figure it out one day and then make that call. But when he does make that call, what's going to happen then? Is he going to confront her? Is he going to be able to stop whatever plan she's scheming on behind the scenes? We don't know. So it looks like my break is over. Wow, that went really fast actually. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started on this. It's going to be the third sprint, and it's going to be 25 minutes, obviously, you can tell that. And I think it should be exciting. So let's get going, and good luck to you if you're riding. I'll see you after the break, at the next break. Okay. Sorry about that. The sprint is over, and I'm going to go ahead and get this last 5-minute break started. So, how did you do? Were you doing any writing while the sprint was happening? I think last time you said you were doing something else. Let's see. Okay, well, you did say that you were doing some writing, like a 30-day challenge. So, if you're still there, I don't know. So I did get about 167 words in the new chapter. That's not that many, but I feel like they're coming out a little better, a little easier than the other one. Okay, you're through day 16 or 17. That's good. Yeah, I tried doing NaNoWriMo back in the day when it was still around, and I've tried it many times, and I could never succeed in it. And like, even if it was like one of the Camp Nanos where I did only 25,000 words, I still never got through it. I always gave up after like a week. I think maybe I stuck it out for maybe 2 weeks into it, but then it never really ever got past that. So, and I know, I mean, so far in this writing sprint alone, I've gotten 167 words, and the previous ones I've gotten 128 words and 165 words. I just write so slow. And I think it's because I'm analyzing everything as I go along, and I reread the same sentence like 10,000 times. And then I reread the whole paragraph that it's in, and it's just a mess. So I know that I'm a thinker, and thinkers can't write fast. And I'm not even a good thinker in that way, because I know that a lot of people in past years have tried to do the, what was it called? The voice to speech thing, or actually speech to text thing is what they were doing. And so they were just pretty much talking out what they wanted to write, and it would just collect their words and move on. But I can't think fast enough for that. I mean, I tried it, and it would like literally capture a few words, and then it would be like, okay, she must be done, and it would turn off before I had a chance to even finish the sentence. So it's like, I don't think fast enough for those kind of things, so it's better that I do it this way, for sure. Oh, you've won that 3 times. That's awesome. Well, if you're going to write a book in 30 days and, make it that quick, it's never going to be good. The first draft of any book is not good. So you have to like write the whole draft and then edit it bunches of times. And so, yeah. And the people who tell you that they wrote a whole book and they never had to edit it more than like once or twice are either lying to you or it's just a really bad book. So you have to be careful. I know that I would need a lot of editing. I don't trust my own writing, honestly. So I would definitely need to get a lot of professional editing help before I publish anything. Subplots. Yeah. Well, those subplots could be made into like several regular plots into several storylines, so you never know when an old subplot might come in handy in a new way. So don't throw them out, just set them aside. Maybe you could use them again someday. Or use them for different characters, or, you just never know. Sometimes it's weird how things just kind of link up after a long time of not thinking about something. Something will just pop into your mind and you're like, oh, that would be perfect for that scene way back when. And then you can just put it all together. Of course, those kind of thoughts usually happen when it's a little quiet in your mind. You have to like stop thinking so hard about stuff. Yeah. Your last project ended up being a story of someone writing in NaNoWriMo. Oh, yeah. I get it. It's okay. I've always kind of wanted to write a story about a writer because I always thought that was funny. I love watching movies like that, so it's like if I like watching movies about writers, then somebody would probably love to read a book about writers. So, yeah, that's probably a good thought. So, all right. Looks like my last break is over. So, it's time to get into this last sprint. It's 25 minutes, and then I will talk a few minutes after the break. After the, not the break. We're not going to have another break after this. It's going to be a few minutes, and then I'll probably log off. But I think if you are still going to continue writing after this, I'm pretty sure that Rhiannon Futch is probably going to go live. She usually does on Sunday nights at 8 o'clock. And so I'll know for sure because she will. I'm subscribed to her channel, so whenever she goes live, it usually sends me a notification. So if I get that before I log off, I will definitely let you know if you wanted to continue writing. I probably will continue writing because I feel like I'm kind of on a roll tonight. But we'll see. I'm going to try to get to day 20. There you go. So you could use all the writing time that you can get your hands on, huh? All right, let's get going on this last sprint. And good luck to you, okay? I'm going to mute the screen. So I'll see you back in 25. Okay, that is the end of that sprint and the end of my stream because that was the last one for me. And Rhiannon Futch is actually streaming. She did my notification did finally pop up. So if you're interested in continuing writing or continuing whatever project that you're working on, it doesn't have to be writing, then you can pop on over to her channel. I put her name and the name of her channel on my little sprint thingy here, my comment section. So if you wanted to pop on over to her channel, you could. So she's pretty cool. I'm not as cool as her, but you know. Oh, that's good. You made it almost through. That's good. Yeah, I didn't make it very far. I got distracted because I am planning on adopting another cat, and I was trying to figure out which days I wanted to do it because I wanted to be sure that I could take off of work in time so I can spend time with whatever new animal I get. It's going to be a cat for sure, but because I live in an apartment and they will allow one cat, no dogs. And honestly, I'd prefer a cat. They're more self-contained than a dog would be. And I don't have to take them outside to go potty or take them for walks or nothing like that. And yeah, cats are just easier to maintain, I suppose. But anyway, I wanted to make sure that I had, plenty of time that I could schedule off work so I could, get a cat and spend time with it before I abandon it for like 9-10 hours a day so I can go to work, earn that cash, And so I was looking at the Humane Society near my house, and I saw one that was just like my old cat that I used to have last year. She tragically passed away, but I missed her every day, and I'm so tempted to just adopt that cat. And the cat's 6 years old, so she's already, actually it's a male. This one's a male. I don't know anything about male cats. I've always had female cats. So yeah, that will be a change, but I'm ready for another adopted kitty cat because I miss having pets. All right, well, Rhiannon is on right now. I did check, so if you are interested in continuing to write, just hop on over there and it'll be nice. And thank you so much for coming and chatting with me today, and I hope you got a lot of progress on your work. And I will talk to you next Sunday. I will be on again at 6 p.m. my time, which is Central Standard Time in the U.S. And have a good night, and I'll see you next time.